child custody is really at least two different things, or has two different aspects. One is the physical custody of your children, meaning where do they live, where do they stay, and the other is the legal custody of your children, which is who has the right to make decisions about their health, education, welfare, religious upbringing. We have a number of scenarios that come out in divorces. We have people who have joint legal custody, but one parent has decision-making authority over school, for example. So we can divide it up. We can take each one of those things and divide it up according to the parent's wishes, according to what parenting plan we make for the children. We often recommend joint legal custody so that both parents have a right to school records and a right to take the child to the doctor if they need to and to get medical records if they need to. In Georgia, the law is that children are entitled to a good, loving, supportive relationship with both of their parents. But here's one thing that I want to tell you. Child custody and child support are always decided by a judge. So that translates very often into the judges having a preference for joint custody situations. It's unusual nowadays for somebody to have sole exclusive custody of a child. Now, one of the issues with child custody is that it's related to child support. I very rarely have people come in and say, Emily, I just can't wait to pay child support. Well, child support is a fact of having children. We do have formulas for determining child support in Georgia, and part of it is how much each parent earns relatively, and part of it is how much time the parents spend with the children relatively. They're factored into this formula. So oftentimes parents want to get the very most time with their children because they want to pay the very least amount or get the very most amount. So we do see a lot of grappling for that in divorce cases. It's something that we have to bear in mind. Also to bear in mind that child custody often involves doing homework, getting kids to practices, getting kids to their after-school activities, and oftentimes in divorce cases, when the parents are initially fighting over a child may be 1 year old or 2 years old. Who's going to spend time with this child? And it devolves into, how am I supposed to get Johnny to his football practice, on this side of town by 4:45, and Emma to her ballet practice at 6:15 on that side of town, and be home to give Fred dinner at 6:30. So coordinating kids is oftentimes much more of a skilled task than we can imagine at the onset of divorce. So in anticipation of that, we also have the ability to go back in and modify divorce decrees if there's something that we can't anticipate. And that's a whole other ball of wax. So, you just have to decide whether you want an expert behind you or not.